Today we have with us on the show Kim and Sani from the Foreign Exchange Global Program, two incredible women who are doing amazing things for the young people of Papua New Guinea. Thank you, ladies, for being on the show with me today.
Thank you for having us.
So before we go on, maybe you can tell our viewers a bit about yourselves.
Diane, we run a residential and education program in Australia for young Papua New Guineans, and we've been doing this now for approximately 5 years. So we're back in PNG at the moment to continue to roll out new programs relating to education for young Papua New Guineans in Australia.
Great.
I hope and I really believe that education is the key to success for any person, but also for the country, towards developing country like ours. I was one of the first high school teachers in Papua New Guinea, and education has been my life. And I'm very compassionate about what I do because I want to encourage and support more Papua New Guineans to become educated in Australia. You can ask why Australia. I believe Australia is I believe and I know for a fact that Australia is one of the best education systems in the world. And if you're qualified in Australia, you can do amazing things, whether it be formal education as well as informal education. So it really changes a person's life.
So what exactly is the Foreign Exchange Education Program?
So Diane, we've had up to 500 young Papua New Guineans now come over to our company in Australia, where we provide all the residential services specifically for young Papua New Guineans. So that takes into account pastoral care, all health, medical, food, taro. So it's a home away from home while they're gaining their Australian qualification. The business arm of the company is the one that seeks out the best training provider for what's needed for the young student that comes across. So predominantly our students are funded through provincial government. So we've gone to most provinces in PNG. We've done a training needs analysis and sat down with the provincial team to work out what is required for youths to get employment back in the province and contribute to developing that province further.
Right. And what is the passion behind doing this? Kim, you're Australian, so I'd like to know, and teaming up with Sani, what is the passion behind doing this?
Well, for myself, my background is with the Australian government, and I worked in residential services. So I've always believed, before I went into private business, always believed that if people were not in a safe, happy, conducive environment to learn, then it doesn't matter what training you put in front of them, you're not going to get the outcome you desire. So to take that a step further, I had in my private company, we've had a number of students from around the world. But about 5 or 6 years ago, we started a program with the national government of PNG and the Queensland government called the TVET program. And through that program, I've had the honour of meeting so many young people who were just so excited, so proud to have been given this opportunity and feel blessed with the opportunity and work so much differently to other people that have the opportunity at all times. For instance, some of our students in Australia who take for granted that opportunity. So it's been quite an incredible experience just seeing how much dedication these people have had to their learning, how they've represented PNG, and it made us decide to focus our company solely on young Papua New Guinea students.
Great.
The company that Kim has formed is very, very exciting, challenging, and I'm very proud to be part of it as a Papua New Guinea woman. And as Kim said, I have worked in Australia both in high schools, TAFE colleges, and little infants at preschools in the last 30 years that I've lived in Australia. And having worked and lived in Australia, I just feel that opportunity that I've been fortunate enough to have, I just wish more Papua New Guineans would experience that. As Kim said, the students from Papua New Guinea, they hunger for education, they absorb everything that is being given to them, formally and informally, and they come back as a changed person. And if we give these Papua New Guinea students who have not got opportunities, like 20,000 students from grade 12 that have no space now, give them that opportunity, they will come back just so changed. And they'll come back as leaders, they'll come back as trainers, they'll come back as examples to the people that they live with in the community at large, as well as developing their province and Papua New Guinea as a whole. And if I can just quote this from a guy called Bill Foster. He was a congressman, he's a scientist, and he's a businessman. And he talks about education. And one of the things that really touched me and I want to put out to people so that they can open their minds and hearts and sponsor these Papua New Guinea kids. He says, if a child is given poor education, it reflects poorly of the country too. A nation is as good as its educated citizens. And if we can dwell on that and give opportunities to the young people of Papua New Guinea, it comes from my heart because I was educated, fortunate. And it's just through formal education I am who I am. And that's been what Australia's done for me. And I want the same things to happen to Papua New Guinean young people.
Diane, we'd also like to work with Papua New Guinea we know we're not the only solution to the gap in education facilities, but we'd like to be part of that solution. And by doing a strategic planning with the provinces, we're looking at ways that we can ensure the province can then do higher quality in-country training as well. Mm-hmm. So it's a strategic plan. You know, to have schools, you need to have carpenters and people with TVET. You need to have teachers, all those other qualifications that's required. Same with hospitals. To have good health, you need the hospital, need the nurses. So when we are planning with the province, we're looking over a 10-year plan where we are educating not only professional people, but technical people. So the whole gamut of skills that are required to help build the province and the human development within that province.
And you mentioned the provincial governments that you've already spoken to and that have come on board. Or could you mention a bit about the governors of those provinces have helped and how the government of PNG can assist you in providing more education opportunities for young Papua New Guineans?
Okay, so we've met with a number of provincial leaders and governors. Two in particular that have come on board already is Honourable Member Lira from Bougainville, who has sponsored 10 young Bougainvillean girls, young ladies, and they're coming down for our secondary program. Just to touch on that, our secondary program is an alternate to boarding school. So it opens up the opportunity for students to attend the right school for them rather than just a school that has boarding facilities. So we do all the residential component again, meet the individual needs, so it's tailored to that, what type of pastoral care, what they may need individually, medically, their well-being, all of those taken into account. The cowboys come in and mentor students. So for example, our 50 Southern Highland sponsored students by Honourable Governor Poe. They obviously, when they come down, we're working on them coming down. That's going to launch in the next week or so, and then they'll be in Australia within the next 4 weeks. And they're doing technical training because that's what's needed for now in the Southern Highlands province. So it's really tailoring the training to what's needed in the province. So what we would like is for more opportunities in Australia to allow us to be part of that negotiation with registered training organisations in Australia so we can make sure we get the very best training package for them. one that's targeted to what they need, very tailored.
Great. Well, that's all we have time for today. Thank you so much for being with us on the show.
Thank you, Diane.
Thank you.
Thank you.